My name is Lyndsie Barrie. I am the founder of YYC Fempreneurs and Fempreneur Marketing School in the Calgary area, and I'm also the author of a couple books for women. The first is a book called Money and the 39 Forever Mom, and the second is called Find Your Voice on Social Media. I became a hairdresser about a year. I started my hairdressing school about a year after graduating high school. And in that year between graduating high school and starting my hairdressing school, I actually got involved in a company that a lot of people have heard of called Amway. And that's where I learned about becoming my own boss. The idea of it was introduced to me for the first time. It was a pretty short-lived experience, but it was what led me to reading the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, which was very pivotal for me, and it was a very huge asset to have that knowledge when I went into the world of hairdressing and was able to just keep people talking about themselves and to really get to know people on a deeper level because they could feel that I was genuinely interested in getting to know them. The world of hairdressing was good to me. I didn't work in a salon for very long. I quickly realized that I could make more money and have more flexibility if I did my own sort of business with hairdressing. So I started doing mobile hairdressing in Grand Prairie, Alberta. That lasted throughout when I had my son, when I was 24, and quickly became a single mom about a year later. And I ended up moving out to the Calgary area in 2010 when my son was 4 and had an opportunity to get into the world of finance, which usually shocks people. They're usually like, how did you go from hairdressing to managing people's life savings? I was actually able to take some courses and was hired by a large international investment firm. And 3 years later, they fired me because I wasn't making enough commissions, which was devastating and a blessing in disguise and led me to, put me on the path that led me to where I am today, which I am so grateful for. The hardest thing that I dealt with was that phase of my life when I was struggling to live my full potential because I was living in a scarcity mindset with my money, mostly due to bad habits with money. And one of the biggest, worstest habits was not knowing what was actually going on with my money, not knowing what it cost me to live every month, not being great at saying no to those impulse buys, things like that. So that phase was so hard because a few others were like, just go get a job. Just stop trying to be an entrepreneur. The jig is up. You need to just get a job. You need to just pay your bills. Enough with this, changing the world shit. Just get a job. I was like, no, I knew that wasn't what I should do. However, thankfully, the hairdressing income, because I've always had some hair clients, that saved my ass more than once. So I do advise my fempreneurs from time to time to put their skills and talents out on Upwork.com, get a part-time job. You can't just starve your way through the beginning of building a business. You do need other income streams. Because it can be hard when the money's not coming in, but you need to keep investing. I would say the rock bottom was the day I got fired, actually, because from that moment on, even though I went through a phase of having a difficult time with managing my money, it was within that first year and a half that I read the Dave Ramsey book. And things quickly turned around at that point because it became more of looking at the number and being like, oh, I can live off of that. I just need to be more intentional. And then things began to change because as soon as I started out on my own, I was instantly making more money. And it just turned around. Yeah, getting fired is probably a great rock bottom for a lot of people. I've heard that from a lot of people, that getting fired was total rock bottom, but also the beginning of so much awesomeness. So I'm one of those stories. I still have a lot of clients actually that trust their wealth to me, which is awesome. And when I started learning about the financial industry and looking at it as a career, I was really excited to learn that I could make money again and again and again after doing something once and maintaining the relationship with those people, because I'm a relationship person first and foremost. And so that income style and the industry, of course, of educating people about money, teaching them all the things we should have learned in high school, that all really resonated with me and felt like my calling. So I still do that today, even though my I guess my image. If you were to Google Lyndsie Barrie, you're going to find more about marketing and the Fempreneurers. But for the first year and a half, the marketing school was free. So I was able to fund all of the Fempreneur stuff through my income that I received from the financial world. So that's definitely not something that's ever going away. And in fact, it's been growing, thankfully, because of the Fempreneurs. There's a huge need for people like me who understand earning, saving, and investing money and are willing to share their knowledge freely. And when I started out on my own, I quickly hired a business coach to help me get my own little boutique financial firm going. And I hired this particular business coach because he had written a few books. And quickly after I hired him, we immediately started working on my first book. It was through taking risks, marketing that book, having really no idea what I was doing. I never hired anyone to help me with the marketing. I just followed my gut for the most part. Started making videos in my little basement suite, sharing my story, talking about why I was writing a book. As soon as I announced the date that book was going to be done, that was when, pardon my French, shit got real. I just built a goal board for the first time. And on the goal board, it said that I was going to have my first book done by the end of July. It was through marketing that first book. I stumbled upon some really huge success with marketing it. Managed to get it into Chapters Indigo stores, managed to get hired to do some international speaking. Just had some pretty cool things happen, and people started asking me how they should market themselves, and they asked for tips and tricks on marketing, and I became really passionate more so about the ones that had businesses or had business ideas but didn't have the confidence or the know-how to take their idea out to the world as a business. So they were really just my favorite clients to work with on both the personal finance side and on helping them get their business going. So I launched my first ever kind of like marketing course for mompreneurs and just had these visions for what I should be doing with my life. And that's when I dreamed up the Fempreneur community and the marketing school, and how it would start with a marketing school and it would build into a community. And after every class that I taught this 6-week marketing school to, I'd have 10 new grads that would be part of the community. And that's literally what has happened. And a huge thanks to the Hoffman process, because that's where I gained the confidence and clarity. And a big part of that was learning the importance of boundaries in my life. So learning how to carve out time for things that are important to me and how to say no to things that are getting in the way. And yeah, so that's, I guess, how the Fempreneur Marketing School was born and the community. I would say that being a mom, and not even as much a single mom, but just a mom in general, has changed my whole trajectory. I work harder, I'm more focused, I'm more intentional. There's just a whole level of accountability there. You know, you don't really get to have those days, in my opinion, where you just lay in bed and do nothing because you don't feel like it, because your kid is watching you. And so you work hard and you lead by example, and you want them to see, at least I've always wanted him to see, that it's lifestyle design. It's not finding a job and then working your life around what that job allows you to do. It's about building the life you want and building income streams that allow you to live that life you want. And I'm doing that and showing him that. And I don't know that I would be doing that if it wasn't for him, because I think I would have taken the easy way out many times over the years if it wasn't for him watching me. I think my purpose it's around serving women. Leadership breeds leadership, and leaders with hearts in the right place are what this world needs. And so I feel like if I can teach other women how to do that through their businesses, and when you do that, you just have the ability to make such a huge impact in this world. So I feel like that's my message, and I'm teaching women how to do it. I'm sharing with them my stories and the things that I did that worked and the things I did that didn't work. And I think that's my purpose, because it comes so naturally to me. I don't think that when you're living your purpose, it should feel hard. My biggest challenge, which isn't a challenge anymore, was literally just taking that leap into gathering groups of women together. I was quite terrified of the idea of putting myself out there to a group of women, but the Hoffman process put me in touch with like my lovableness, is that a word? I don't know, whatever, I'm using it, lovableness, and my ability to love others. And I just decided to just love on a bunch of women and just be ushy gushy and like just to care about them with no, fear of them rejecting me. Surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with people who are going places, who are actively doing the work, not just talking. And and if you don't have enough people in your life like that, start looking. If you're a female entrepreneur, YYC Fempreneurers. And if you can't find, if you're part of the world, you can't find a group, start one. Make a really clear mission statement for your community that you're starting, and start a little community of people that are trying to do the same kind of thing you're trying to do. You need to be around people that are fired up and doing the work, and on the days when they're not fired up and not doing the work, they have a team to kind of pick them up and help them along. Yeah, so if you're looking at writing a book, if you've always wanted to write a book, some of the women that have come through Fempreneur Marketing School quickly got after it, and I've been able to help them complete their first book. So if that's something that you're feeling called to do, get in touch with me at yycfempreneurs.com. And if you need some marketing education or just a team of awesome ladies who are working hard at their businesses, go to yycfempreneurs.com and sign up for the next marketing school. There's a bug in my hair. I don't even remember what the question was. I don't know how I got off onto that tangent there.